WSSU Ram Nation, you probably already know by now, but changes are coming to WSSU homecoming. It was inevitable, and they were announced on Tuesday. We'll talk about those changes to WSSU homecoming. We'll talk about tickets, ticket information, and maybe we'll talk about something that maybe we can actually bring back to WSSU. We'll see. We'll talk about it right after this intro. What's going on, everybody? SJG here. Thank you for tuning in to WSSU Ram Nation. Please go ahead and hit the like button. It just helps us out with the algorithm and everything like that. If you feel so inclined, purchase some WSSU gear below via my Amazon link. That helps the channel out as well. We're looking to get to 1,000 subscribers by the start of the season, which is now 17 days away. I'll say this: if we make it to 800, in this next week, I'll buy season tickets and I'll find a way to give away at least one ticket for every game. So I'll make that happen if you guys make that happen for me. All right. So anyway, guys, as we talked about earlier, the homecoming is upon us. It is October 18th, which will be here before we know it. And there was a town hall that was made available to alumni, and it actually still is up on Vimeo. I may throw a couple clips in here. You'll just have to wait and see. But it is still up there as well. And so our Chancellor, Benita Brown, as well as key members of her staff, answered and addressed questions regarding. Start that over. So our Chancellor Benita Brown and key members of her staff answered questions, as well as gave out the information about the changes that were coming to WSSU homecoming. So, you know, if you remember it all last year, and the last couple of years, to be honest with you, there's been what seems like an uptick in violence and shootings, unfortunately, around incidents at HBCU campuses. I know there's been several of them, but also in the state of North Carolina last year, there was one around the campus of Elizabeth City State during homecoming time. And then there were some shootings over at North Carolina Central. And so with that in mind, we kind of knew that there was probably going to be a crackdown coming, and, you know, for lack of better terms, that's what it feels like to a lot of people. So Chancellor Brown, you know, spoke about how the chancellors and presidents, the chancellors at the UNC HBCUs, which would be her, as well as the chancellor of North Carolina Central, Fayetteville State, Elizabeth City State, and North Carolina A&T, got together to talk about campus safety for HBCUs during homecoming. And so with that, we have new objectives. She also spoke very candidly, I would say, about the situation, giving context to the situation that WSSU, as well as other HBCUs, find themselves in right now in its terms of homecoming. And it's twofold. It is that security situation, but it is also financial. She talked about the fact that North Carolina does not have a budget right now, so the schools have not been given new money, so they have to make the money that they do have stretch further. And as we all know from living life, nothing's getting cheaper, right? So with that in mind, there is many new changes. One of the big changes is going to be that the campus will shut down on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Will shut down. Campus will be closed off starting at 8 p.m. So, look, you know, govern yourselves accordingly. I know, you know, a lot of folks love to go to the yard after the game, some during the game. You know, I know a lot of people love to do that, and, you know, we really made it a thing, you know, return to the yard. I just remember 2019 was super massive, and there's been some other really good ones. But, you know, the situation is what it is. Safety is an issue, as well as the budget. So With that in mind, the campus will be closing at 8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So with that in mind, obviously you get to the game day. And so the changes that will be coming there regard parking and tailgating overhaul. So basically what's going to happen is there's only really going to be one spot for general tailgating. General tailgating is now all moved to the east lot, aka the gravel lot. Self-explanatory. All right, so all of the tailgating is moved there, except the only other place to tailgate on or near Bowman Gray Stadium is going to be on the south lot. However, there's a caveat. That is exclusively for season ticket holders and Horns Club members, which means that, so we'll get to season tickets in a second. Now you say, hey, SJG, okay, I'm not a season ticket person, right? How much am I going to pay? All right, so if you want to come to the homecoming, there will be parking available, but it is going to be $75 to park. Now, if you buy that in advance, now I'm glad I'm actually doing this via video. I don't have to dodge a shoe or anything like that. I ain't make the rules, but this is what they are, and I kind of support them. I do support them. But anyway, $75, all right? So, but if you pay that $75 in advance, and this starts August 15th, then that $75 gets you a parking space at one of the lots, and it also gets you admission to the game, right? So you get a game ticket. So there you have it. Now, that's $75 for the west lot and the driver's ed lot. But now if you say, hey, I'm not trying to spend $75, there's an option for you as well. There's another one at the Anderson Center for $50. So, it's going to be cheaper, but you have to walk or catch a ride, whatever you do. So that's $50 as well. Same situation. If you buy it in advance, you get a game day ticket as well. So you can go into the game. You can hang out in there and look, everybody that's parking, unless it's like 5 of y'all in the car and one person's going to take the ticket, you have a game ticket for the $75 or the $50. But if you wait till the day of, you're going to pay $75 to park, no questions asked, or $50 if you can get into the Anderson Center and there's no game day ticket. And, there are limited spaces there. So I would advise anybody that is just going to do the one-day option to go ahead and get your stuff now. So that is what's going to go on. Now, again, I said that the campus was going to close at 9 p.m. At 8 p.m. Tailgating will close at 9 p.m. So tailgating can last to 9 p.m. So there you have it. They are encouraging everyone to buy season tickets for football, as they always do, right? So season tickets for football this year are $130. $130, and then there's parking. So you have to pay for the parking too. So if you buy season tickets, you get the parking for $100. $100 parking. There are 4 games this year. First off is Lincoln, second Virginia State, third Virginia Union, and then fourth homecoming for Livingstone. So for those 4 games, you're basically paying $25 each for parking. $25 each. So you do the math. 4 game parking with the season pass is going to be $230. But you're good, you're covered. And as AD Etienne Thomas said, hey, if you can't go to the game, give your ticket away or sell it, however you want to get rid of it. So there you have it. It's $75 for a game day parking spot and ticket in advance on those lots. $50 for the same thing from the Anderson Center Day of, it's 75 and 50 and no ticket. Or you just buy the season tickets. So it is $130. And, you know, obviously that prepays for everything. So yeah, I know a lot of people, they're not super big football fans, or maybe, you know, they aren't just going to get to every game, and so they're going to say not buying a ticket. It just depends. But if you're going to one game, if you're just going to go homecoming, you know, $75, you get a game ticket in advance. If you might go to 2 games, you know, you're probably better off getting that season pass. You know, by the time you factor it all in money-wise. But look, so those are the options. I know a lot of people are not feeling it. A lot of people may not be happy with it. But I think, personally, I think it is a step it's definitely much a step in the right direction. You know, I know a lot of people feel a certain type of way because they feel like, hey, you know, the shooting happened at Central, something happened at ECSU, nothing of that sort happened here. But, you know, I've got on-campus sources that tell me that there was no obviously there was no shooting, but there were some tense moments, and, you know, just the crowd got unruly and really uncontrollable as the night wore on. And so, you know, we're all one moment away from having something really bad happen, and I know that nobody wants that to happen. So, you know, the adults in the room had to get together. I know some people might not feel like, I don't want a game ticket. I shouldn't have to pay $75. I shouldn't have to pay $50. I mean, at the end of the day, as Chancellor Brown said, this is WSSU is, they got bills to pay, you know, those people who are out there that are working the games, whether it be doing tickets or whether it be doing, or police security, they're not out there working for free, right? So, you know, it costs to have homecoming. They're not making money off of homecoming, but they are trying to do what they can to mitigate their losses. So look, you know, folks have their own, agendas, and they have their opportunities to do whatever they want to do. You know, but I think, you know, again, this is a great way to support the university, by, you know, again, and taking advantage of what's there. So $75, you got 2 months, get your ticket and get your parking spot and be happy. There we go. And there's the game. So yeah, there we go with that. Again, season is getting ready to start off in a couple of weeks. The Red Tails Classic, I know a lot of people said Red Tails Classic is going to be taking place on August 30th. So that'll be just a couple of weeks. So excited about that. We'll be taking on Tuskegee. And yeah, hopefully this will be another successful season. Last year was a step in the right direction. I will say, you know, we do have the most expensive season ticket package in the CIAA. We do. I went back and looked through. We have the most expensive season tickets package. That $130 is the general admission season ticket. If you want to sit in the red seat, that's $205. And then, you know, you add in the parking. Y'all are smart. Y'all can do the math. So that's what it is. You know, last year we led the CIAA in attendance. And, you know, for what it's worth, at the end of the day, you know, we don't own Bowman Gray Stadium. So it's a struggle for us to make money as it is. And so, you know, it's a great way to support the school, support the university, support the student athletes. But also with that, you know, being the most expensive ticket in the CIAA, we charging championship level prices. We need a championship level product on the field. And that's what this move says to me, is that they want to have championship level things. I know that, you know, as we discussed earlier, that we have more than 30 scholarships on the football program. It's something we haven't had in a long time. It's still not the max, but it's more than what we've had in quite a while. So the university has made the investment to have a successful football season and make a championship run. And, you know, they're asking the alumni to do the same as well. But they're going to have to put out a championship product for us. Again, I have made no qualms about it. I said it all year. Last year was good. It was a really good step in the direction. But this is WINS. This is Winston-Salem State University. And wins matter. And more importantly, championships matter. The CIAA is returning to North Carolina will be back in Durham for the first time since we sent Bowie State home with the L back in 2015. And we haven't won the whole thing since 2016. Never in the history of the CIAA championship game has WSSU gone this long without playing in the championship game, except for, when we split off for a couple years to try to go to Division I. So again, the pressure is on the football team, the coaching staff to deliver. And, for sure, we all want them to win and support the program. So there's that. Let me know if you guys have season tickets, if you're planning on getting season tickets, or what option you're planning on getting on homecoming, or just how you feel about it. I really do want to know, and let's continue that conversation in the comments. I think it's very important, and people do watch this channel, so I want to thank you guys for hanging with me now for over a year. It's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys some more content and seriously getting some other folks on here to talk with me as well. So we talked about a lot of heavy stuff right now and all of that stuff, but let's end on a different note. So, one of my things that I love is I love history. I'm like an amateur historian. And of course, HBCU game day, everything like that, I have to do a lot of research on HBCUs. And so I've done a lot of research on WSSU. And, I'm a class of 2009 graduate. Like most of our alumni, I graduated after 2000. So the only color scheme that I've ever known for Winston-Salem State University is this right here. Your red and white, the official school colors, and then black as the accent, which is a pretty strong accent, right? So, but before we got there, before we started going with the red, white, and black, we were red, white, and blue. And so I've always been fascinated by that. I used to just see photos periodically of old uniforms, of old merchandise, and I thought it was a really cool retro look. Did a little bit of digging and research, and that accent was used quite a bit in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and into the 90s. And then eventually it was changed by Kermit Blunt, the former head football coach, in the late 1990s. So I posted on TikTok a couple of days ago just a collection of photos of some members of the Winston-Salem State basketball team, Lady Rams basketball team. And a lot of people were like loving the jerseys, loving the blue. Let's bring back the blue. And that's what I'm on right now. I think this is a great time. Now it's been gone long enough that it's time to bring back the blue. Maybe not all the time, maybe not 100%. I mean, red, white, and black are great colors. Don't throw it all the way away. But I think it's time to bring back the blue. And a lot of people feel like that way too. As an accent, maybe a situation where like these numbers are white and the stripe is blue, what have you. So I feel like that should be a movement. Bring back the blue. So let me know if you think the WSSU should bring back the blue as well. I think it would be really dope. Maybe it would be great to see it on uniforms, football, basketball. Or, just see more merchandise with that classic WSSU blue on there as well. So I'm talking to some people trying to get the energy up about it. So let me know in the comments if you know the blue. I found a really cool logo that used to be on the side of the football helmets that spells out Rams. Really cool. So I think it's we all love merchandise, and so it'll be great to have some official WSSU merchandise with those colors. It just has its own little certain flair. So that's my little movement. And if you agree, hit hashtag bring back the blue for me at the bottom of this. I really appreciate it. And let's make it a movement, and we can say that it started here with WSSU Ram Nation. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, listening. I'm long-winded. When I get in these videos, it's not just gonna be pop, 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 pop. I'm gonna talk a little bit, but I appreciate you guys for rocking with me, and I will see you during football season. meet the Rams, any of that good stuff. And let's just really pray, and also do everything we can to make sure that the students first, as well as the alumni and the staff and everybody in the WSSU Ram Nation community, has a great 2025-2026.